Throughout the entire NFL offseason, we have the chance to go over different scenarios of what teams could do, what could happen. That's the fun part. That's what I love about the offseason. And obviously, yes, we'll come out with mock drafts. That's coming soon. But I think the bigger question here, especially for the Las Vegas Raiders, is where and, what possibly could where could Josh Jacobs go and what could the Raiders get for him? I think that's a big question, and I think there are two specific teams that really need to look very seriously at acquiring the services of a guy like Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, the tough part about this is the running back position, evidenced by so many different picks. You talk about Elijah Mitchell. You talk about Ramondre Stevenson out of this last year's draft. The running back position is so hard to get value out of anymore. Back in the day, who was it? I'm trying to. I think he's now with the Vikings front office. Trent Richardson went for a first-round pick. People forget that. Well, what was it to the Colts or something like that? Back in the day, you could get some great value for a good running back. But now, the NFL doesn't really, a lot of NFL teams really just model. It's a passer, get the passer league. That's what it's turned into. That's the harsh reality that we live in. But so the question remains, what could you get for Josh Jacobs? And, should the Raiders consider it? I think they should consider it because Dave Ziegler and company, they would not be doing their jobs if they didn't go out and make calls, just see, what the best case scenario is. Because for a franchise like this, if you can get a good running back in the 4th or 5th round, or rely on Peyton Barber or whoever, to come in and start, which Barber did actually very well in spot duty for Jacobs. I feel like that would be a really good idea to at least listen to it. That's their job. They have to listen to these offers, weigh what is best for the team and whatnot. And Jacobs only has one more year on his rookie contract, so it's not like they're going to re-sign him to a $20 million a year deal. It's just not going to happen. The running backs don't go for that much anymore. I think Dalvin Cook is one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL right now, and only makes like $10-11 million a year or something like that. So Josh Jacobs, if they don't want to pay him, if the Raiders don't want to pay him, they have to look at a lot of different things. And obviously, I'm getting a little caught in the weeds here. But the point is, I think there are two teams that really need to look at trading for a guy like Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, is a superstar in this league. I think if he can stay healthy, he's a guy that you can have 1,000 rushing yards and 750 receiving yards if he's in the right scheme and in the right system, and that is very attractive for a lot of teams. But I think two specific teams that I think are rebuilding that would take a shot at this, the first one being the Atlanta Falcons. I know what you're thinking. Cordero Patterson had easily a career, over 1,100 yards. He had over 10 touchdowns. It was crazy. But other than that, they got guys like Mike Davis, and come on. I think this would be a lot of fun for the Falcons. Now, I think that overall the Falcons are in a position where they're probably going to want to use their first 2 draft picks. So will they offer him a third for him? I don't know. I think it's at least interesting. I think it would be a lot of fun. Matt Ryan is obviously going to be I don't want to say he's necessarily going to be on his way out, but he could be looking for another he could be looking to be a backup quarterback later on down the line here, which I wouldn't have a problem with. I feel like he's still a good quarterback, but I don't think he's the franchise player that the Falcons wanted him to be. Now, excuse me. I apologize. Wow, I need to get more sleep. Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, Tajay Sharp, all those boys, they got some good, they have some really good weapons. Not to mention Kyle Pitts, one of the best young tight ends in the entire league. But I think overall, this is an interesting roster when you consider it, but I would like some firepower. Can you imagine Josh Jacobs with a guy like Cordero Patterson running the Wildcat? Oh, baby. I gotta stop talking about it because I might want to, as a Vikings fan, I might want to trade for that. I'm just kidding, but I think overall that would be a very interesting trade. Again, would they want to give up a 3rd round pick? I don't know. Second, third, maybe. Second, I doubt. I don't know. I think if he goes to the right team, that wants to make a trade or whatever, I think that you could possibly get a 2nd round pick, but I doubt it these days. Again, it has to be in the right scheme. So what's the right scheme right now? I hate to say it, the Raiders is the right scheme. They have a lot. They have some good second pace backs, like we said in Peyton Barber and those boys. But overall, Josh Jacobs is in a good scheme right now. But I do think that the Falcons would be a very interesting fit. And again, I think that they could look to do some things with that offense moving forward. Team number 2 that I think could trade for Josh Jacobs' services, the Houston Texans. Now, why the Houston Texans? Well, the Houston Texans have been a team in the past that, they had some good running backs. Arian Foster is a great name that goes out there. I think overall, if they want to continue to bring in tools, to help a guy like Davis Mills, I think it wouldn't be out of the question. As they're starting running backs. Now, I also have to say here, listen, I know that when you got a guy like Phillip Lindsay, it's probably not something that you really want to dish out right away. But Phillip Lindsay, I just feel like it never hurt to have a second guy on the field that can do a whole lot of different things. Excuse me. And Josh Jacobs, don't get me wrong, like we have said, he is a superstar in this league. The question is, the Texans, what they want to give up. Are they still going to want to trade Deshaun Watson? I read an article the other day talking about how, but it's going to be a haul. Like, we're talking at least 3 first-round draft picks, and then change after that, like some high. I think the article said something about 7 total draft picks. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. Like, that is, I feel like if none of the allegations against Deshaun were for real, okay, like you could probably get that, but especially now, I don't know what could happen with that. But I think overall, the Houston Texans are in a position that they want to upgrade their running back position. Rex Burkhead is your starting running back. That's all I have to say. David Johnson back there as well, and Royce Freeman. What happened to Phillip Lindsay? I forgot off the top of my head. Doesn't matter. The point is this. The running backs, they're respectable, but immediately Davis Mills would have a running back behind him that would do a lot of good. You talk about some of the weapons they already have, guys like Brandon Cooks, and Danny Amendola is kind of a secondary option there. Nico Collins, I saw some good things from him. And overall, I really like Brevin Jordan, the tight end that they got as well, recently, excuse me. So I think it is very worth noting that the Raiders are in a position where they could look at a lot of different teams, and I think the Houston Texans are definitely a team that should look into acquiring a guy like Josh Jacobs, because I think he brings a lot to an NFL roster. I know we've done a lot of rambling, but stay with me. Last little bit here. What could you get for Josh Jacobs? What could the Raiders get? Again, I think it comes down to the fact that, I hate to say it, but the running back position in the NFL just has lost value. It just has. You're finding guys that are rushing for 1,000 yards, are doing some great things in the 4th to 6th rounds. So it's really tough for the Raiders. They kind of were back in when they first drafted a guy like Josh Jacobs. He was obviously the best guy on the board, and I really liked him. I thought he was going to be a really good running back, especially coming out of Alabama, just a whole bunch of powerhouse running backs. In fact, I would say he's one of the only Alabama running backs that has ever worked out. Like one of the only. Obviously, Derrick Henry. There's maybe a couple of other ones, but other than that, it's slim pickings. So Josh Jacobs is a guy that I think teams, if under the right system, other than the Raiders, we went through it the other day, looking at all these different NFL teams. We literally Googled NFL teams, just NFL teams like the other day, just to see, okay, run by their running back situations. San Francisco 49ers, no. Elijah Mitchell is amazing. Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, amazing. Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Mixon, nah, you like what you got in Joe Mixon. Patriots got Ramondre Stevenson in the 4th round. Kansas City Chiefs, no. If you just go down the line, the only 2 teams that I thought could possibly make a trade for a guy like Josh Jacobs would be the Houston Texans and the Atlanta Falcons. So I think that kind of puts the pin in it. But again, what you could get for him, I think the best case scenario, unfortunately, is probably a 3rd round pick, maybe a 2nd. Maybe if you can do some canoodling, find another, a scheme that might fit him. But overall, Josh Jacobs is a very talented player. I say let him play one more year with the Raiders, because I just don't see the value. You invested a 1st round pick in this guy, and he just brings so much to your football team. So I think at the end of the day, the Raiders really need to focus on building an offensive line, and especially other than Colton Miller, like everybody else other than that should be put on notice at this point. So overall, the Raiders are in a position where obviously starting to building an offensive line, defensively, corner, outside linebacker, you name it, defensive tackle. The thing is this defense is pretty respectable. It's got some pieces, but it needs a lot more if the Raiders want to continue to be competitive in the NFL. So that's what we think in terms of 2 teams that should trade or could trade for Josh Jacobs. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome, and we love every single one of you. In the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. We greatly appreciate it. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about teams that could potentially trade for Josh Jacobs.